I played Blight on controller for 100 days, and this is everything that I have learned. Yo, what's good, fam? As I just said, I played Blight on console for 100 days straight to try to learn him, and all I gotta say is I have found a new main. I was a Demogorgon main, but after playing Blight for 100 days, I don't think there's another killer as fun as he is. But let's go ahead and get to the video. I have a lot of things I want to talk about and a lot of tips and stuff, but this is not a tutorial. A tutorial will be up in the top right now if you're watching on like PC or something. If not, it'll be in the description of the video of explaining everything that Blake can do. Make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers before Christmas. Make sure you comment a video idea if you have one. Make sure to like the video, and I'm gonna go over these points and put gameplay in the background so you're not just looking at me and the main menu. I'm a fine ass dress. Let's get into it. But first, let me go over why I did this. I did this because I hear a lot of people talk in the community that think console players cannot do anything that PC players can do, and I think that is outrageous. Even though we might be at a slight disadvantage because we're on joysticks and sometimes the game doesn't run as perfect as it should, I think we can be just as good as the PC players can be. So I have my own goal to try to get good at each and every killer, and this is just the first video in that series. If you don't know, I've been playing Dead by Daylight for about a year, if that, on and off, but the last like 5-6 months I've been on it almost every day, so this is definitely my main game. And this video is for people that want to learn Blight on console but don't know how to really get into it, so they need like a little motivational push or something like that, and just to show that you can be good at anything you set your mind to. Because I don't want to toot my own horn or brag about nothing, but I know I'm a pretty damn good Blight for a console player, and I'm on PS4. It's not like I'm on PS5 either, so my game buffers a lot each and every match. I'm on some joysticks, and it's pretty difficult in here. But if you're on PC, if you're learning Blight, or you just don't even play the game but you love to watch people play the game, you can still sit here and enjoy the video and enjoy all the tips that I give to other people who want to learn how to play this killer. Before I get into any of the important points I want to talk about, the first point is the playstyle. I play a similar playstyle that I replicated after Lilith Omen, which involves almost never bringing gen regression perks, never kicking gens, only going for chases, and I always bring perks that help in chase instead of perks that could help with generator slowdown and win the game. Because I feel like learning Blight after 100 days, he is one of those killers who does not necessarily need any gen perks. He's just that good. Blight is the kind of killer where if you're pretty good with Blight, if you're going against casual survivors, it's gonna be a fun match. It might be an easy match, might be a little difficult, but that's the fun part of playing Blight. And because MMR, you'll win a lot of games, and then you'll go against really good survivors. And those are the games I actually really love, because it's a challenge, because they know how to play against you. So my playstyle is, as I said, replicated of Lilith Omen. I care about chases, I care about getting downs, getting some good flicks. Those are the main things I care about. I don't care about winning when I'm playing Blight. I go out of my way to not tunnel anybody. I could have one hook and 4 gens are done, and I still wouldn't tunnel, because it's all about the chases. So if you're looking for somebody to give you a full in-depth description of the best loadout to bring and what to do to win, you're in the wrong place. And I want to go over settings because I know some people will ask, hey, what's your sensitivity or something? My sensitivity is 75. It's not high at all. You can have it higher and get even better flicks, but I don't play on max or really high sensitivity anymore because it really messes with my tracking. So 75 is that sweet spot for me. You just gotta find that sweet spot for you. And let me talk about Blight's add-ons really quick so you know which add-ons to avoid. Here on screen are the add-ons that aren't good in my opinion. These did not help me learn Blight at all, and all the other ones are good, so feel free to run whatever add-ons you want. All the other ones will help you in my opinion. And lastly, when it comes to playing Blight, experience is the key. You can watch as many tutorials as you want on YouTube, as many of my videos, as many as Lilith Omen's videos. You are not going to get better unless you play yourself. Experience is the best teacher, and you will get bullied if you're just picking this killer up. You will get bullied, but sooner or later you'll start to pick it up, you'll get way better, and then you'll be bullying the survivors, and it'll be fun while you're doing it. So don't get discouraged if you play bad and you're starting to learn the killer and these survivors know how to play against you and they're super sweaty. Don't mind it. Just keep playing, and one day you're gonna get super good. Alright, the things I will go over now is the things I learned fast, the things that took me a little bit to learn, things that took me quite a while to learn, and things that I am currently still learning. And then I'm gonna wrap it up with some tips and, you know, stuff like that. First thing that I did learn really fast is that it was gonna be really hard. And yeah, that's obvious, that's a gimme, but you know what I mean. So I went in every game with a positive mindset that I was gonna do good, and there was, don't get me wrong, there was a shit ton of games that I did not do good at all, but I never let it get me down. I always kept a positive attitude, and I feel like that's the main thing when learning how to play a killer. Keep a positive attitude. And another easy thing that I learned was to use rushes for mobility, which, yeah, it's kind of obvious too. Like, after 1 or 2 matches, I got the hang of, you know, just bumping into things to make myself go around the map. Because, you know what I mean? It's kind of simple. You just press the L2 button and run into something, and you're going to bounce back and forth. And that is it for things that I learned almost instantly. And then here are the things that took me a little bit to learn, is getting the rush hits and like not being patient enough, because ironically, even though you're the fastest killer in the game, you need to be the most patient killer in the game, if that makes sense. Because if you're too busy about, hey, I need to get this one needs to hit, hey, I need to get her on my last rush, I can't use all of my rushes, I gotta get her on my second, you are going to make yourself lose more 1v1s than you want to. You have to be as patient as you can playing this killer, and getting rush hits is just, it was something that was really hard at first, especially when you just pick up the killer, because you gotta read and predict the survivors, you gotta know where they're going, you gotta counter their wiggle if they try to make sure you miss. But once you get the hang of that, Blight will become much more of a walk in the park to play, and it won't feel like you're picking up a new killer in a new game or something like that. And again, that is it for that little part of the things that took me a little bit to learn. Now here are the things that took me a little while to learn, which are the techs and getting creative. And one of the biggest things is, yeah, survivors can wiggle and make you miss, but what some survivors will do that I really still struggle with, especially because I'm on controller, is FOV tagging, which is where if you bump near a survivor, they will run into you. And pressing the left trigger or the right trigger is like insanely fast, isn't as fast as 2 mouse buttons that are right next to each other. So I miss a lot whenever survivors FOV tag. That is my biggest weakness probably, and it really sucks, especially for on controller. And as for text, they did take me longer than I thought they were going to, but once I got them down really good. It's like parallel parking. You don't know how to do it at first, but once you get it down, you can do it every time without a problem. And doing the text isn't really hard after you learn all the text. There's the easy hug tech, there's the advanced more kind of one, the moon rush, there's the J flick, there's 90 shoulder flicks, there's a pre-rush flick, not a pre-rush flick, a pre-rush. But other than that, yeah, the techs were kind of easy to get down. And another thing that did take me a while was getting creative. Blight isn't so much of a killer where you do this, you pick up the killer and they're like, okay, what you want to do is get in a chase and do this. Like, for Nurse, there's like a set pattern. Whenever you're chasing a survivor and they try to break line of sight, you want to blink to where you last saw them, so if they double back, you can catch them. For Blight, there is nothing like that. You just rush to where you can get in a good position and or put the survivor in a worse position to set you up for a hit or for them to get dead zoned. And that is like what makes Blight so fun, is he is the most creative killer to play in the game. There's no certain way to play him. You can do this, tech that, rush here, not rush here. And there are also times where you will have to play as an M1 killer. That is something that took me, that I did understand pretty fast, that I forgot to say, is learning when to play like an M1 killer and not like this right here you just saw on screen or you're seeing on screen. That is a loop you don't want to really try to rush around. I do because like I think it's fun, but if you're trying to win, you probably just want to play that as an M1 killer, get the pallet out of the way. And that is that. You're about to hear the craziest thing you've ever heard, but the thing I am still learning is bump logic. Yeah, I say that I want you to learn bump logic more than anything when you pick up Blight. You want to learn how to use bump logic to your advantage other than hug teching. You don't want to rely on hug teching or anything, but I'm still learning bump logic. What I mean by that is map knowledge. There are a bunch of things that do look like they have collision and don't look like they have collision. So something like that barrel that I'm running into or just ran into, I don't know, I record these and then I sync them up. That barrel has collision even though it's really short. And then there's like one of those trees. I guarantee one of those trees I would slide right off of if I ran into it. It's very inconsistent playing Blight, but if you have experience, you can use that to your advantage. And by that I mean, looking at this pillar, I didn't show it in the clip, but I can rush into that. That has perfect collision. But you see this little like building looking thing right here, I rush directly into it and I just slide right off of it on both sides. It looks like it would be something you can bump into, but it in fact isn't. I ran into it straight head on that time and just slid right off of it. And really good blights can just use this to their advantage and get hits where you think they shouldn't. Like take this clip for example. I'm chasing an Adam on Eerie of Crows. I break a pallet. I managed to hit this one, and I know this building has terrible collision. I would have to use a rush to hit that fence in front to try to rush around to hit Adam, but since I know it has terrible collision, I can just rush straight into it while trying to look to my right and do a full 180 around the building. And if it had good collision, I wouldn't be able to do that. So that's what I mean by good blights know what has good collision and what doesn't. And if you ask me, I think this challenge was pretty successful. I have gotten pretty good with Blight, I might say. I feel comfortable playing him. I feel like that's the goal for these videos, to get comfortable playing the killer. I am doing more than one killer at a time though, because if I do one killer at a time, killers will come out faster than these videos will come out, which means the series will never get done. And I always do more than one killer at a time. We finished Blight. I am also doing Nurse and Billy. Those two, I think I'm 2 weeks in for both of them, and I've been doing Wekser, and I think I'm like 70 games in with him. So like games, I meant days. I'm like 70 days straight in with Wekser, almost at 100 mark. So Wekser might be next in the series, but after that might be Nurse or Hillbilly, especially for console, so I know people be looking forward to it. And I think I went over all the basic points that I wanted to go over with this challenge, just to show that it is possible to get pretty comfortable with the killer. My next video will be me going against a bully squad, so you can see how I perform against them. And as I said before, Wekser will be the next in this series, because I'm 72 days in with Wekser, I believe. 72 days straight of playing Wekser. And I was playing Blight while I was doing it. So I was playing quite a bit of DBD. I know I'm Ashwa and it says it on the screen, but that's because I've been really sick. You've been able to hear throughout the whole video. I have a sinus infection, so I can't really breathe out of my nose at all. But if you're on console or PC, but mainly console, and you really want a full in-depth guide, it'll be on the screen right now on the top. It might be in the end screen as a postcard. I'll definitely have it in the description, or just check out the channel. You will find it in my channel. I didn't make it that long ago. It's been about a month or two since I made it, so you could just go check out that video if you want an in-depth guide of me going over his power, add-ons, techs. I go over everything in that video. And I have come to the verdict that playing Blight on console is extremely fun and extremely possible. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe and enjoy the rest of your day.
It started when we were younger, you were my boo.